Stack 5 modern adults, 800 pounds, 10 arms, 10 legs, against a single Neanderthal with bone-crushing hands stronger than any living human's entire upper body. On paper, it looks like numbers should win, but factor in how real fear, panic, and untrained chaos unravel every advantage, and suddenly, the outcome is not just numbers versus strength. It is a hard lesson in why our ancestors fought in groups, hardened by necessity, not office chairs. Here is how this matchup really breaks down, stat by brutal stat. 5 bodies in a single unit, that is roughly 1,000 pounds of human mass, spread across 10 arms and 10 legs. Each person averages about 200 pounds, matching what the CDC measured as the mean for adult males in the United States. Stacked side by side, these 5 ordinary men represent the raw material of a small car, muscle, bone, and body weight all counted. 10 hands, 10 feet, and a combined reach that in theory should let them surround and overwhelm a single opponent. The math is simple. 5 times the limbs, 5 times the bodies, 5 sets of hands that together could generate hundreds of pounds of grip and pushing force if they could act as one. This is not a contest of individual skill or training. It is the pure numbers game. On paper, the group is a moving wall, a ton of living weight with the potential to pin, restrain, or even dogpile an adversary. The question is whether these numbers mean anything when the opponent is not just another human, but something built for violence. The average adult male stands 5'9" and weighs about 190 pounds. This is the baseline, not an athlete, not a fighter, just a regular person with a desk job and a gym membership they rarely use. Grip strength hovers between 70 and 80 pounds per hand, enough to open a stubborn jar, but nowhere near what is required to break free from a determined hold. Most have not benched their own body weight since high school, if ever. Beyond raw numbers, there is a different kind of gap. The average person has never thrown a punch in anger, never been in a real fight, never felt the surge of adrenaline that comes when violence is no longer theoretical. Their experience with danger is secondhand, watched on screens and not lived. When stress hits, coordination breaks down fast. 5 people might talk a big game, but in the moment, tunnel vision and panic can erase any plan. This is what the numbers really mean. Ordinary strength, untested nerves, and no practice for what comes next. A Neanderthal stands shorter than the average modern man, about 5'5", but every inch is packed with dense muscle. Fossil analysis shows body weights between 170 and 200 pounds, distributed across a wide, powerful frame with a low center of gravity. The muscle attachment sites on their bones dwarf those of modern humans, especially in the chest, shoulders, and arms. Their pectorals are nearly double the size found in Homo sapiens, and the forearms display a level of robusticity that hints at a lifetime of explosive, close-range force. The real gap opens with the hands, where an average modern male can muster 70 or 80 pounds of grip with each hand. A Neanderthal grip is estimated at over 600 pounds per hand, enough to crush bone or immobilize prey with a single squeeze. This is not a theoretical number, it is carved into the fossil record, where muscle scars and thickened bones testify to a life spent grappling with megafauna. Grip is the practical difference between modern humans and Neanderthals. Healed fractures are common in Neanderthal remains. Broken arms, shattered ribs, even skull injuries that would put a modern human in the hospital show clear signs of recovery. Pain for them was background noise. A Neanderthal threshold for injury and shock far exceeds anything found in today's population. Against this baseline, the numbers game starts to look like wishful thinking. 5 people moving as one sounds simple, but untrained groups in real fights rarely achieve anything close. Instead of a coordinated rush, what actually happens is a tangled cluster, arms crossing, feet tripping, bodies colliding. Each person tries to find space to act, but with no sense of timing or spacing, they end up blocking each other's swings and grabs. Friendly fire isn't just a movie trope. In crowd combat studies, the majority of accidental hits come from allies, not enemies. Two people lunge from opposite sides, both trying to grab the same target, and end up wrestling each other instead. Someone in the back, desperate to help, pushes forward and shoves a teammate off balance. Without training, even simple movements become obstacles. One person's attempt to circle behind becomes another's blind spot, and the group's numerical advantage dissolves into friction. The more bodies in the fight, the greater the chance of interference. Instead of 5 versus 1, it's chaos, a mess of limbs, confusion, and hesitation that hands the initiative to whoever stays focused. A fight like this does not start with 5 bodies moving in perfect sync. There is a brief critical window, just 2 to 4 seconds, where hesitation cracks the illusion of unity. In studies of acute stress, even trained responders show a measurable lag between recognizing danger and acting. For the untrained, that lag stretches longer. One person steps forward first, drawn by instinct or pressure, while the others hang back, caught in the split-second paralysis that comes with real threat. The first engager faces the Neanderthal alone, absorbing the full force of what is coming before anyone else can close the gap. That delay, only a couple of heartbeats, is all it takes to fracture the group's advantage. Instead of a wall of bodies, the attack unravels into a series of one-on-one collisions, each person reacting to the violence instead of shaping it. The opportunity for overwhelming force evaporates as soon as entry becomes staggered. In those opening seconds, the Neanderthal is not fighting 5 people. It is dismantling them one at a time. Once a Neanderthal gets hold of a human, the dynamic of the fight changes instantly. The grabbed person is no longer an asset to the group. They become an anchor, a liability, and a tool for the opponent. In seconds, the Neanderthal can use the seized body as a shield, blocking rescue attempts, or swing the person as a blunt weapon to scatter the others. The remaining 4 face a brutal calculation, rush in and risk the same fate, or hang back and watch the group's numbers shrink. Most people instinctively try to pull their friend free, but that only clusters them within arm's reach, where the Neanderthal's leverage is at its peak. In that tight knot of bodies, arms tangle, legs trip, and every rescue attempt exposes more targets. The cycle repeats: grab, hold, incapacitate, then move on to the next. Each captured human makes the group weaker and more desperate. What began as a 5 versus 1 contest collapses into a series of isolated, losing struggles, with every failed rescue tightening the Neanderthal's control over the fight. The only scenario where 5 average humans could overpower a Neanderthal relies on flawless, simultaneous commitment, every person launching themselves at the target in the first 2 seconds, without hesitation or jockeying for position. The combined weight, close to 1,000 pounds, must be applied as a single, coordinated mass. In grappling terms, this means pinning the Neanderthal's torso and limbs to the ground, stacking bodies so that each person's weight adds to the restraint. One person secures the legs, 2 anchor the arms, and the remaining 2 focus on the head and neck. Their only real shot is to immobilize the Neanderthal's chest and airway, using sheer mass to restrict breathing or to apply a choke. This approach demands a level of trust and pain tolerance that most untrained people simply do not have. Any hesitation, any gap in pressure, and the Neanderthal can break the hold or turn the pile into chaos. When violence becomes real, the numbers on paper collapse under pressure. In untrained groups, the most common response to lethal threat is not to stand and fight, it is to freeze or run. The freeze-flight instinct dominates, triggered by shock, adrenaline, and the sudden realization that pain is no longer hypothetical. One person bolts, and the rest follow, a cascade of panic that scatters the group and turns 5 bodies into 5 isolated targets. This is not a rare outcome. Studies of civilian responses to sudden violence show that coordinated resistance is the exception, not the rule. Most people have never experienced the chaos of real combat, and never learned to override the urge to escape. Professional teams, soldiers, police, and fighters train to move as one, to commit together, even when the cost is high. They build trust and discipline that average people simply do not have. Against a Neanderthal, that difference is everything. The numbers advantage vanishes the moment panic takes hold. Today, the average human is further from our survival-hardened ancestors than ever. In a real crisis, numbers alone mean little without resolve and unity. The gap between potential and action defines who endures. Modern comfort has a cost, and evolution doesn't wait for anyone to catch up.